Welcome back to the Crew 2, boys. I promised you guys your very first look at the Crew 2 customization. That is exactly what we are doing here today. I hope you guys have been enjoying these Crew 2 videos. I've got plenty more planned, so if you are a fan of the Crew 2, make sure you subscribe and look out for some more videos because we've still got some online gameplay coming at you over this weekend, so make sure you look out for that. That is going to be super cool. Anyways, what we are doing here today is we are going to be building up this MAZDA RX7 drift spec, and we are going to be firstly doing all the visual customization to it. So we're going to be working on the rims, the body mods. We're going to be tossing on a big wang, front bumper, everything like that. And then we are going to be taking this car out into the world and doing some drifting around. So it's going to be pretty cool. Sit back and relax. This is going to be an awesome one. However, before we get into this too far, I did want to mention if you missed either of yesterday's videos, because we uploaded 2 videos on the Crew 2 yesterday. The first one was the first 20 minutes of the game, and you get a good look and good understanding of how the game starts up and how all the class systems work and stuff like that. So if you haven't checked that out, I'll include a link to that below, and you can check that out after this video. And the second video I posted was the full car list, or full vehicle list, I should call it, for the Crew 2, because it included all of the cars, the bikes, the planes, and the boats for the Crew 2, as well as the prototypes, all of the DLC, and a very special car that I expect you guys didn't know was in the Crew 2. So again, that will be linked below and you can check it out after this video. It will probably surprise you, at least one of the cars that is on that car list. Anyways, I should probably talk about what is going on screen because you might be confused as to what exactly you're looking at. So, firstly, we've already gone in, we've bought the MAZDA RX7, and we bought a drift spec one. There's actually 2 different RX7s in this game. There's a street racer version, which is just a normal road version of the MAZDA RX7. We've opted for the drift spec version, though, so it's a little bit lower, it's got some camber, and it's going to want to slide a little bit more, which is really cool. Anyways, once we come into our house in the Crew 2, which is really cool because there are actually houses in this game. If you want to customize your cars, your boats, your planes, anything, if you want to paint them, do customization like visual mods or anything, you will need to come to your house, then you press the X button and you can customize your car from here. Anyways, what we're doing is we're going to be tossing on like front bumpers, different hoods, different rims. That was actually nearly, I believe, the full list of rims in this game. Feel free to pause it at any point in this video and you can take a closer look at any of them. I believe that was 85 different rims for this car. Now, one thing I'm not actually sure on just yet is if there are different mods for your car depending on what spec you are. So this MAZDA RX-7 obviously is a drift car, like I was saying. Let's say with a more general car that's available for more classes, say like a Corvette. For a Corvette, you can have a normal Corvette, like a normal road car one. You can have a drift one. You can have a drag racing one as well. I don't know how many of like the upgrades correspond or carry over from class to class, but it will be interesting to see and definitely interesting to check out. Anyways, we're working on the rear here as we've got some major big wangs in the back there. I was actually very surprised about the sheer amount of like different types of upgrades that there are in this game. It is seriously cool. Nothing in this game is actually branded in terms of body parts, I believe, from what I've seen so far. But yeah, it means you can basically have a bunch of different options and you can swap and toss on anything you like on your car, and it is very cool. The other thing to note is we're currently level 2 in this game. We're popular level, which is level, we have 16,000 followers in this game, and none of the visual customization parts are actually locked, which is very cool. So when you jump into the game, right from the start, you'll be able to just make your car look the way you want. However, if you want to do some performance upgrades, the way you do performance upgrades is you actually earn those by doing races. I don't know how hard or how long it takes to earn certain upgrades, but at the point of recording this video, we don't actually have any of those upgrades just yet. I should also mention, I haven't mentioned it just yet in the video, this is actually the full game for the Crew 2. Ubisoft invited us out to San Francisco, and I actually wasn't able to make it out there. So this is actually Raymond who recorded all of this gameplay, so huge thank you to him for going all the way out there, traveling all the way there, and then recording all of this footage for us. Without him, this video would not be happening right now. So yeah, huge props to him. Also, when he does things like that and he crashes, we can all make fun of Raymond instead of me for the first time ever. Anyways, I should say, obviously this is going to be his first time ever playing the game. He's never played the Crew 2 before, so you will definitely see he starts off a little bit rough, but as we get into the drifting in this game, you will see him slowly start to improve and figure out the way the physics are in this game and stuff like that, which we will talk about in a little bit. Just going back to the performance customization, though, when you want to do performance customization, obviously you have to do those races to unlock it, but for right now, since we don't have any, this Mazda RX-7, like, performance-wise, is completely stock for the drift spec one. So we've got 250 horsepower, and it's just like driving any other Mazda RX-7 drift spec in this game, which is actually quite cool. When we get into performance upgrades, I would imagine this thing would be quite a bit harder to drive around, but you'll be able to see us get some pretty good slides on, even with only 250 horsepower, which is pretty goddamn good if you ask me. Anyways, getting back to the driving, I was asking Raymond, I was like, so what do you think about the driving physics in this game? And because obviously that was one of the main points that I had a problem with in the Crew 1, and that's the reason I probably didn't play it as much as I would have liked, because it was a really cool game, but the physics just weren't there in the Crew 1. Raymond was driving this around, and I was like, what does it feel like to you? Do you like it? Is it good? Is it drivable? What do you think? Raymond said this game is definitely much improved, and you definitely get a much better sense as to how the cars drive and how they handle. I will say one of the only things that is a little bit iffy from my point of view, like I haven't played the Crew 2 just yet, I've only been watching gameplay, and one of the things I noticed is that the car, the back end at least, on this Mazda RX-7 swings out a lot, and combine that with the camera, it's almost a little bit off-putting, but I'd imagine to play, it's quite a bit nicer to play, or it makes sense, it'd be intuitive when you play it. The other thing, speaking of intuitive driving and stuff like that, is I feel like this game is actually quite intuitive and quite easy to pick up and play at any point, because like I was saying, this is Raymond's first time ever playing the game. He's never played the Crew 2 before. This is his first ever drift car in this game, and I was just like, Raymond, try to drift something while you're in San Francisco. He's like, I got you. And you can see him obviously have some trouble, but he's able to get a couple of slides going on back and forth. And then we'll cut to a little bit later when he heads off to a racetrack, and it was only like 10 minutes later. And he actually got really good at the drifting and was able to figure out how all the physics work and stuff like that. It was actually really cool. Anyways, we're just drifting through the streets right here. But street drifting is cool, but what about heading to a race course? And obviously the coolest part about the Crew 2 right now is that you can switch from being a car to a plane to a boat. And what's the fastest way to get to a racetrack? In a plane. That's the fastest way. So Raymond just flew over this racetrack, and the way he got into the racetrack is he just flew over the thing, became a car, and he's on the racetrack, just like that. And this was only 10 minutes later after he was driving around in the city, and you can see just like how much better he is already at drifting. He's also getting on the NOS every now and again. Oh yeah, there's also a race going on at this racetrack right now. So you'll see some people be coming flying around the circuit and actually smash into him a couple of times as we're driving around this race course right now. So that's something to watch out on if you are playing the Crew 2. Anyways, yeah, what was I saying? So, what was I saying? I don't remember. Anyways, we're at this cool racetrack here, and he's just driving around. Yes, the NOS. So he was able to get on the NOS, and he was able to figure out when to get on the NOS to keep pushing him around the corner and keep those slides going and banging in as many points as possible. There's also some cool, like, in-world, like, free roam drift events that you can do. At this point, Raymond didn't actually do any, but there are some around the map. One thing I actually didn't mention either was the painting system. At the time of recording this video, although it was the full version for the game, the painting stuff wasn't finished just yet, or wasn't polished enough for Ubisoft to be like, yeah, show that off in a video. So we couldn't show off painting and stuff just yet. But I will say, from what I've seen so far, it is really cool and is going to make life a lot easier for people like me who aren't necessarily the best painters or best designers in this game. Anyways, I love this. Raymond's like, okay, I've had enough time playing around at the race course. I'm going to become a plane, and then I'm going to head over to the parking lot outside the race course. And then this is what I find really cool about the Crew 2. Look how many vehicles are just on screen. This is on an Xbox One X, playing at 4K 60 FPS, and this is just insane. It is rendering all of these traffic vehicles at once, and you can smash into all of them, and Raymond just drives around the parking lot for a little bit. His intention was to drive around, or drift around, but there were just way too many cars scattered throughout the parking lot. Anyways, guys, that is gonna do it for us today. That was your first look at customization in the Crew 2. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you subscribe down below for more videos like this in your subscription box. Like I said, I have plenty more of the Crew 2 gameplay coming at you, so make sure you look out for that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon with some more of the Crew 2. See you guys then. Bye!